Hello viewers, Super GT here, back on Gran Turismo Sport. You can see here I'm going to do some manufacturer cup. Now the manufacturer I've decided to go with is Chevrolet. So the reason why, I was quite liking the car that I drove against the Renault Megane. You may have seen that video around about Christmas. I really enjoyed driving the C7R. And yeah, that was my actual signature. How do they know? So here are the cars. One is Group 3, one is Group 4. We'll see what race we'll have to do in just a moment. Here it is. It's actually Group 3 at Brands Hatch. So these little races here are quite good. You have a little practice session, you have a qualifying session. Qualifying was a bit fighty. You can see how close it was coming out of the pits. So you kind of have to leave space to get a good lap. This is the end of my first lap, also the end of my second lap. So you can see I'm just catching up with traffic. It's really hard to get a clean lap here unless you just let everyone go right to the back. A couple of problems with yellow flags as well. Coming through a very tricky right-hander. This guy was just rejoining, right? And I just went past him. Those two obviously had some sort of crash. Then I got a penalty for it. So that lap is absolutely ruined. So I'm not sure I really did too much wrong there, because I thought the guy on the right was rejoining, but they classed that as me overtaking him under yellows. So okay, fair enough. But then the next lap, as we cross the line, that is also going to be dirtied. So this lap is penalised as well, as you see with a red number in the middle of the screen. Finally though, on lap 6, and we've only got less than a minute here remaining of the session, so this is my final lap, my final chance. I'm only sitting in 10th at the moment, or 11th now actually, 11th. At this current second, as we come into the final corner, Brands Hatch, a tricky one to get right. The Chevrolet deals with it very nicely. Coming across the line, we're going to keep to the right hand side to minimise our direction. There it is, up into second place at the last grasp. So it was a good lap. It was pretty much my only clean lap in that whole session of 10 minutes. And just as a bit of mind games, I just put the message, I'm a beginner, just to, you know, trick your opposition, you know, give them a full sense of security. Let's have a quick look at the start of the grid. So there's the pole sitter in the VW from Saudi Arabia, and the representing Chevrolet FLH Super GT. There it is, beautiful car, love the look of that. Just look at third and fourth, we've got a couple of Porsche 911s here. So yeah, just two Porsches right behind me. Let's begin the race. Now, I'm going to show you the entire race. I'll tell you right now, it's a slow burner, but it is one of the best races I've ever been in. You should really watch this one through to the end, because it was just simply amazing. So, I'm going to go slow defensive. Up the hill into Druids, turn number 2. VW. It's a very strange looking car, but he's clearly done the job in qualifying. Put it on pole position. I do apologise if the indicator lights or the hazard lights are off-putting, but I turned them on during the opening sequence where it shows the grid, and I didn't really want to turn them off while I was racing. Not for this opening lap anyway. So, coming over Hawthorns, or Hawthorns Rise, up into Hawthorns Corner. Bit of a gap now to third place already. Just carry way too much speed through here. I was kind of just looking at the VW. That's going to cost me massively. You see the gap has opened up already over nearly 1.5 seconds. The thing I was looking at the most was the red text. You see on the top left where all our names are, there's a red text. That is your gap to the leader. So 1.1 now as we come through the second to last corner into the final corner. The Porsche is fairly close, so not too close, probably not close enough to overtake into that corner. Not the best of exits through there, although not too bad. So going across the line then at the end of lap number 1 into first corner, braking nicely there, a little bit late, not really close to the apex at all. Up the hill, looking again for the cones, there they are, and in there nicely. Bit of oversteer on the way in, just looking to be very patient through the apex, and on the way out we've done that very nicely. Purple sector, you'd expect that at the moment. This is only lap 2, so our first proper flying lap. So into turn 4, just go flying into that one. I think I've taken that very nicely. Bit of oversteer on the exit. Car not very easy to control. In terms of traction control, I am using 0 for this. I might change it a little bit later in the race, but for right now, the setting is 0. Luckily around here there aren't too many corners. A lot of the corners are like this section here, at least. Very open, fast flowing corners. So it's actually very easy to try and get the power down quite quickly. It's the sharper corners where you can have trouble, especially turn 2. The Porsche right on me now. Porsche right on my tail, coming through a sheen curve. Very tricky corner to get right. I think he got it a little bit better than I did, although the gap's now opened back up to a second. Actually no, over 4 seconds. I don't know where he's gone. I think he might have lagged out or disappeared completely, perhaps crashed for the second to last corner. So that's given me a bit of breathing space. Actually the gap now behind is 4 seconds. Constantly monitoring that gap behind. So just below my name, 4.2 seconds, you can see it there. That indicates how far the car behind you is, and a massive portion of oversteer on the exit of Druids. That is not going to help with trying to catch up with the leader at all. On the exit of turn 3, through there nicely, Graham Hill bend that is, into turn 4. I don't remember all the names of this track. I should do because I live fairly close to it. On the exit of 4 onto the back straight, the longest straight of the track. You can see the straight line speed. So yeah, as I was saying, looking at the distance markers on the left hand side, or the time boundaries on the left hand side, it's better to do that, I think, than to keep looking behind. But then again, it's probably better just to look at where you're going than to be looking at the gaps all the time. But constantly monitoring that gap to see if I will close in on the Saudi Arabian in the Volkswagen into the second to last corner, clipping that apex very nicely, using the bit of the curb on the exit as well. It's turned into a 2-horse race up the front here at the end of lap number 3. So a 10-lap race here. I do like this, the format of this session. It takes maybe 30-40 minutes for a whole session to take place. So you have a practice session, you have a qualifying session of about 10 minutes, or exactly 10 minutes. You see I've gained on the Saudi Arabian through that first corner, which is good to see. Gap just over 1 second, so 1.1 seconds. And then you have this race, so 10 laps of under 1 minute 30 per lap. We're looking at around about 20 minutes or so. Running very wide on the exit of turn 3. Graham Hill bend does the Saudi Arabian, but he's got it all under control. It seems a bit wide through there, and I'm just looking at that constantly, and I'm seeing that in some corners I'm gaining, some corners I'm not. So the current gap, 1 second, or just over a second. So it has been 1.5 around about lap 2 and 3, but now down to, or 1.2. You see there through that corner he gained maybe a tenth. So the margins here are so fine. As we come through there, a bit of kick of oversteer on the exit. Sheen curve, very tricky one to judge. You're often turning in before you can actually see the apex, so they're just absolutely maximising the apex. No penalty, so no corner cutting according to the game. Just about keeping 2 wheels on that curve through Sheen curve. Final corner, it's a nice one to get right. Apexing just where the curb goes from a thicker thickness to a thinner thickness, yeah, if that makes sense. So braking on the cones, we're into here nicely, kind of trail braking it in there. The curve there on the inside is not as bad as it is in Forza. It doesn't throw you up a million miles into the sky if you touch that, so that is a possibility to just raise that one. Trying to maximise our traction on the exit of turn 2. You see there, as I was just getting the power down, the car really wanted to fight me, so just really have to back off that throttle. So lap 5 now. I think the first sector here has not been the best. Yeah, you see there, 3 tenths down. And in a race as tense as this, where you're really trying to get every tenth you can, that matters. You know, 3 tenths at the end of this race could really matter, because, well, we're going to see how close it's going to get. Coming through Hawthorns, clipping the apex very nicely through there, taking it a bit better. So as you're going through these races, just trying to analyse what I'm doing. Where am I going wrong? Where can I go better? Hawthorn corner was one of my weaker corners. You can see they're a bit wide for Sheen curve. I'm just grazing the grass on the exit. I've lost maybe a tenth or 2 through there. A little bit up through sector 3 by just under a tenth. But you can see here overall on this lap I'm still a little bit down, I think, or maybe just a tiny bit up. But still the faster lap goes to the Saudi Arabian, with a 24.2, and he's across the line. He's going to improve that to a 24.1, and I've just done a 24.5. So you can immediately see there I've lost 4 attempts on that lap. So the gap's gone from 1.3 to 1.7 seconds. But this is a key thing in racing as I go a little bit wide through Druids, and a massive kick of oversteer once again, struggling to keep the car in check coming down the hill. But this is the thing in motorsport, it looks like a big gap, it looks like I am really struggling to keep up with this guy. He's very quick. His lap 5 was, well, it was the fastest in the race so far, and he is driving very quickly. But if he looks behind, he sees that I'm still there, I'm still plugging away. That pressure could mount, it could build up on him, and if he just makes one little error, you never know what might happen. So I mean, if it was situation reversed, let's say I was in the lead and this guy, after 6 laps, he's still there within 2 seconds, within sight when he looks behind. You know, you're going to start feeling that pressure when someone is just within sight, you know, in your mirrors, and you can just still see them and they're not going away. So we're going to see how this one develops on the exit of the second to last corner. Yeah, maximising that, not losing too much time though, I don't think, by grazing 2 wheels onto the grass. Going through the final corner, apexing very nicely. The car just rolls through there beautifully, and I've gained on this lap. You can see at the start of this lap it was 1.7, now down to 1.2, in fact less than 1.2. That was my best lap, was it? It was my best lap of the race so far, 124.3. I think he must have done a 24.6 or 7 as a gain, maybe about half a second there. Or say he's a bit slower than that, but a good gain. So lap 5 wasn't good. Big kick of oversteer once again. You can see I'm not really learning on the exit of Druids, still trying to be impatient, and I mustn't do that. This game, or this race, this kind of race here, is going to be one of minimum mistakes, and there's a massive mistake from the Saudi Arabian. He goes well wide, and I'm going to get the run here, and I'm going to take the lead. Lap 7. Okay, I think this guy is definitely quicker than I am. He seems to have been more consistent so far. As I said, if you keep that pressure up, then that mistake may well come. So I'm into the lead. I've got 3 and maybe a quarter laps, or a bit over a quarter laps remaining. So try and keep him at bay. This is going to be very hard to do. This guy was very good, but if I can just keep myself in the right kind of places, go into the corners, pretty much just go how I've been going so far, then this racing going to be very good to the end. So coming up towards the final corner, you see there I've got a bit of breathing space, up to 4/10 of a second. Not much breathing space, but some. At least it's not 1 or 2 tenths where you know he's right on your tail, pretty much pushing you along. So we're not quite into that situation just yet. So coming into Paddock Hill Bend, a very difficult corner, first corner here at Brands Hatch. I haven't gone into the best line there, but just covering him off. You couldn't really go for a move. Just going into the apex very early. You see it poking at the bottom of my screen, lots of oversteer through the apex, but on the exit just about okay. Down the hill, rolling left into Graham Hill Bend, and then up towards turn 4, looking for the 2 cones. There they are, getting on the brakes nicely, trail braking in, hitting the apex nicely. And as we go through here, oh my god, absolute disaster. My thumb has come off of the left stick, and I just was momentarily not steering, heading straight for the barrier. Luckily my thumb recovered in time to grasp the left thumbstick once again, but unfortunately the Saudi Arabian and the VW has gone through back into the lead. So, wow, I mean, at this point my heart was sinking, because I knew that was my best chance to win this race, was to get track position essentially and just keep him at bay, just block him every corner, left, right and centre if I had to. But now we're going to have to really hunt him down once again. We've only got 2 laps left, but we saw it on lap 7. If we can get somewhat close, the pressure might build once again. He might make that mistake that we saw at turn 4, lap 7. So crossing the line, we are below a second. The gap is below a second, so it's smaller than it was for most of the first half of the race. Through the first corner, clipping the apex nicely, up the hill then, look for the 2 cones, there they are, down a couple of gears. You see I've turned the traction control up to 1 now, so just trying to help me on the exit of Druids, and actually that's probably the best time I've taken it throughout this whole race. So on lap 9 I've actually got my act together, actually managed to take it a lot better than I have done so far. Still the gap remains, it's hovering around about a second, and through turn 4 is actually up to 1.2, or just below now. as we come up the long straight. Just trying to tuck into that slipstream. I'm not sure it's going to have a massive effect from this distance, but you need to just try and get everything you can in a race as close as this one. So then into the right hander, well, I mean that's grass cutting for me. He may well have a penalty. We'll have to see. This could be another factor, because if he has a penalty, I just need to get very close to him. If he has a 1 second penalty, I need to be within that second. We'll see. I'm within 0.6 now as we come up to the final corner to begin the final lap. So this is going to get very, very close now. My heart is in my mouth right now, because I know that there's a possibility of winning this as we now come across the line to begin the final lap. He's moving to the right hand side. I'm not sure what to try to put me off, maybe make me think twice about doing something and moving to turn 1. Perhaps he thinks I'm close enough to go for that move. Not quite yet. I can't go for dive bomb of the century, not from this far back. You have to wait for a better opportunity. He's got a massive kick of oversteer. The pressure's on, boy. Don't make a mistake, mate. Oh man, it's lap 10. You don't want to lose it now, mate. Don't spin out into turn 4. Is he going to make that error? He goes in. He's actually taking that okay, a bit wide of the apex. Is he going to get a kick of oversteer? A little bit. I'm very close now though. The slipstream is going to kick in. You can see here the Corvette got great top end speed. As we come up to Hawthorns, up the inside, it's a solid move, and I'm surprised he didn't make that harder for me. I'm going to go defensive now. Block the inside line. A bit of contact. Oh my god, I'm a bit wide. My heart is in my mouth right now. He's gone into first place. And oh my god, is that going to be race over? I think that is going to be the race over. But through Sheen Curve, he's gone very wide. He's just dipped 2 wheels onto the curb. He's onto the other side. And I'm back into the lead with just 1 corner remaining. Oh boys, this is absolutely epic stuff as we come into the final corner. Super GT persevered, and he's going to come through to win. What an absolutely brilliant race, and frankly one of my better victories on this game. I haven't had many, but that was a really good race. Oh my god, 2.3 seconds in the end. He raced so well, but the pressure got to him, I think. I'm not sure if it was because I was there, or if, I don't know, he got tired or something. He just made a couple of crucial errors in that final lap. I was not expecting that. And he's handed me the win. Oh my god, let me know your thoughts on that race, because I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So my victory, little pose here, victory dance. I haven't had too many victories in this game, but that is definitely the finest one I've had so far. An absolutely amazing race. It started off fairly slowly for the first 6-7 laps, but I think if you can just keep within that range of a second or two, you're just gonna, they're gonna know that you're there. It's gonna put the pressure on them. But let me know your thoughts as always, guys, and obviously subscribe if you're new and would like to see more like this. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed being part of that race, and I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching as always. Goodbye.